Welcome to our English news coming to you from Canal Algérie. First, the top stories of the news. The Algerian-Slovenian relations are in the limelight during the audience granted by the President of the Republic to Slovenia's Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs. The President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, National Defense Minister, receives the Tunisian Defense Minister. Defense cooperation is enhanced between Algeria and Tunisia during the meeting held by the Minister delegate to the National Defense Minister, PNA Chief of Staff, and the Tunisian Defense Minister. CRB and national football team legend Jalil Salmi passes away, and the President of the Republic extends his condolences. Welcome back. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Tuesday Slovenia's Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tanja Fanon, and the delegation accompanying her. The audience took place in the presence of the Principal Private Secretary to the Presidency, Boualem, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, the President Advisor in charge of Diplomatic Affairs, Ammar Abba, in addition to Algiers Ambassador to Slovenia, Sabrina Bey. Following the audience, the Slovenian diplomats have this to say to our reporter.
I just finished the meeting with the President. Algeria and Slovenia are very friendly countries, and we had a wonderful discussion with Mr. President about the relations between our two countries. We have to admit that not only political cooperation, but also economic cooperation is really developing very fast. We have today here many Slovenian companies, representatives of our government, to work closer together to develop our cooperation, especially after a very successful visit of the President in Slovenia earlier this year. So after this visit of President in Slovenia, when many agreements have been signed, we today hold the first joint economic commission where we will discuss further cooperation on the business, economy, development, and we agreed with the Minister that we are two friendly countries, that we share a lot of same values and also interest to work together in Africa, on the continent, to help people through humanitarian development projects, but also between our two countries. So I'm very glad to be today here to have this first joint economic commission be accompanied with the companies from Slovenia. So we are looking into possibilities how to work on the field of renewables, energy, also digitalization between the ports, artificial intelligence, pharmaceuticals, agriculture. So there are a lot of opportunities. I'm happy to see that this cooperation between the two countries is growing, and not only economically but also politically. We have embassies in both countries. This is also very important development of the last 2-3 years, and we are closely cooperating as non-permanent members in the Security Council in a very difficult geopolitical environment. Today we also discussed upon situation in Gaza, Middle East, and we called for immediate ceasefire and the end of this war in Gaza.
The Slovenian diplomat speaking to our reporter. The President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, National Defense Minister, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Tuesday the Tunisian Defense Minister Khalid Saheli and the delegation accompanying him. The audience took place in the presence of the Minister Delegate to the National Defense Minister, Chief of Staff, Army General Said Chingriha, and the Principal Private Secretary to the Presidency, Boualem. Army General Said Chingriha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, received the Tunisian Minister of Defense, Khalid Saheli, now on a visit to Algeria at the head of a high-level military delegation. Melissa Kibash with more details.
welcoming ceremony kicked off by hailing the national flag and listening to both national anthems, followed by a military salute presented to Algeria's guest by a military unit representing different forces of the People's National Army. Present during the ceremony, the Secretary General of the National Defense Ministry, Commanders in Force, the Commander of the Republican Guard, the Cabinet Director to the Ministry of National Defense, the Acting Commander of the National Gendarmerie, heads of departments, the General Inspector of the Army, as well as Central Directors of the General Staff of the People's National Army and that of the National Defense Ministry, alongside the Tunisian delegation. During the meeting, the two parties evoked sectors of bilateral military cooperation as well as ways and means to further reinforce coordination regarding issues of common interest. Common security challenges were also discussed at both regional and international levels, while points of view on current issues were exchanged. On this occasion, the Army General delivered a keynote speech during which he welcomed Algeria's guest before underlining the excellent relations between Algeria and Tunisia, indicating that both countries share similar aspirations in terms of security reinforcement, regional stability, and the building of an emerging economy that would be crowned with durable development. Army General added that the excellent relations between Algeria and Tunisia are based on a strategic dimension reflected by the ongoing dialogue and constructive coordination between the leaders of both countries. The Army General also stated that Algeria ensures, under the leadership of the President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the consolidation of these relations with Tunisia in different fields.
تحرص الجزائر تحت قيادة السيد عبدالمجيد تبون رئيس الجمهورية القائد الأعلى للقوات المسلحة وزير الدفاع الوطني على تعزيز علاقاتها الثنائية مع تونس في شتى الميادين.
Notably, when it comes to defense and security, given the paramount importance granted by Algeria to the security and stability of the two countries, requiring the highest possible level of coordination and consultations. Adding that the security, geopolitical and economic challenges facing the region requires a common action with a clear-sighted vision based on dialogue, coordination, exchange of expertise and best practices in areas of common interest.
تفرض علينا اليوم أكثر من أي وقت مضى تعزيز العمل المشترك وفق رؤية متكاملة ومتبصرة ترتكز على الحوار والتنسيق وتبادل الخبرات والممارسات الفضلة في ميادين الاهتمام المشترك.
The two parties then signed a joint intergovernmental accord of cooperation in the field of defense between the two ministries of defense. These accords constitute a milestone in the history of bilateral relations and a new step towards the reinforcement of military cooperation between the two parties. At the end of the meeting, the two sides exchanged symbolic gifts. It is worth recalling that the Tunisian Minister of Defense, Khalid Sahili, visited the Martyrs' Sanctuary, where he laid a wreath of flowers and observed a minute of silence, a vibrant tribute to our valiant Shuhada, or martyrs.
The Algeria continues a military cooperation in the limelight following the death of the legend of Siab Belouizdad and the former national football team player Jilali Salmi. The President of the Republic extended condolences message to the late family, highlighting his brilliant career as a player and as a manager as well. To another story now. During his working and inspection visit to Msila province, Prime Minister Sifir Gharib indicated that the government is determined to continue reviving projects confiscated to exploit them in enhancing the national development process as part of a global strategy pursuant to the President's guidelines. Full roundup with Bismafar.
The Prime Minister, Mr. Sifir Gharib, inaugurated today in Msila a production unit for reinforced concrete bars operated by the public company Fondal. The inauguration took place as part of the working and inspection visit carried out by the Prime Minister to the province under the guidelines of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. He was accompanied by the Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and Territorial Planning, the Minister of Transport and the Minister of Industry. The industrial project located in Dra al-Hajj in the municipality of Msila is a state-recovered asset transferred in August 2024 to the National Company of Foundries ENAFOR. Specializing in the production of iron steel, the plant covers an area of nearly 24 hectares. After inspecting the various stages of production, the Prime Minister gave instructions to ensure the new industrial facility operates at its full potential and takes its full rightful place within the national production fabric. Before the inauguration, Mr. Sifir Gharib attended a presentation on Fondal, the public industrial company to which the new plant belongs. The company is also set to acquire new production units as part of the state's ongoing efforts to recover misappropriated public assets. Prime Minister Sifir Gharib reaffirmed the government's determination to revive confiscated projects and boost national production, in line with the guidelines of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune. He said the new plant's output will be directed towards exports, part of the agreement concluded during the latest intra-African trade fair. During his visit, the Prime Minister also inaugurated a new unit at a factory specialized in brake pad production and confirmed that Algeria has laid the foundations of a genuine national industry. Mr. Gharib underlined the need for transparency and technical precision in mechanical industries, noting that investors must provide detailed information. Mr. Gharib underlined the need for transparency and technical precision in mechanical industries, noting that investors must provide detailed information on components and materials to build a strong national sub-controlling network. He added that an industrial map for the sector is being finalized, while the national inauguration framework for vehicle and spare parts manufacturing has reached 80%. Regarding investment facilitation, the Prime Minister announced an interministerial team to reactivate and modernize the single window system, ensuring all investor services are provided in one place. Concluding his visit, he praised Algerian expertise, stressing that all recovered projects were relaunched by national professionals capable of meeting every challenge. Stressing that all recovered projects were relaunched by national professionals capable of meeting every challenge.
The Foreign Affairs Ministry announced the evacuation of 11 Algerian nationals taking part in the Gaza flotilla via Jordan. The operation was supervised by Jordan authorities as requested by Algeria and in coordination with the embassy in Amman, which followed closely the whole operation and process from scratch. Earlier in the day, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, held a phone conversation with the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Minister of Jordan, Ayman Safadi, during which Attaf expressed Algeria's gratitude to Jordan, which responded favorably to Algeria's request regarding the repatriation of the Algerian nationals taking part in the Gaza flotilla, offering all kinds of assistance in line with the friendly ties binding the two countries and the two peoples. The 13th edition of the Energy and Hydrogen Exhibition and Conference for Africa and the Mediterranean Basin, NEPAC 2025, goes on in Iran with the presence of several foreign companies hailing from 60 countries. The event is a good opportunity for the participants to exchange expertise and conclude partnership and investment deals in the energy sector. To international news now, a major political crisis in France due to the departure of the recently appointed Prime Minister with his government of choice that lasted about 14 hours before his official resignation, showcasing the lack of common ground of understanding between all the political parties involved. More details with both Afaf Belhouchet and Manal Boubacar.
Ship is built and the sails are hoisted, yet no one believes it will float. 24 hours after his resignation, Sébastien Lecornu attempts to do the impossible, repairing what no longer exists. On Tuesday, the resigning French Prime Minister received the two leaders of a ruined right wing, Laurent Wauquiez at 4 p.m. and Bruno Retailleau at 5 p.m., each in their corner individually. The right party now has 2 entry points and a single exit point.
No prime minister who arrives with the current circumstances with the lack of a voting majority in parliament can do much. The solution, as I have stated before, is that the president doesn't govern.
While Lecornu negotiates in vain, Bardella reaches out to the Republicans to sign a government agreement which puts the extreme right in a critical position. In the midst of the chaos, the Prime Minister wants to adopt a methodological approach. I think he can take the initiative by announcing the name of a candidate for the Prime Minister role with the intention of handling day-to-day affairs and creating a budgetary plan. He announced that he is organizing an early presidential election, meaning that he will immediately leave after the budgetary bill is passed. A political bombshell hits when President Macron's old companion asks to leave and Gabriel Attal states, "A real negotiation with an independent part from all political parties is a must, because I've noticed for the past year that all negotiators have been selected by the president or by those he designated as prime ministers." Uncertainty continues after this morning's meeting on the left party, the first one gathering ecologists without socialists and the second PS communists without ecologists. As I have mentioned, our proposal is open to all those who would like to represent the Popular Front, each person taking their own share of accountability and responsibility. The facts are here, as Jean-Luc Mélenchon doesn't attend the consultations and the PS group refuses to sit in the same table as their counterparts. Socialists can represent a solution. We realize that there is no absolute majority in the scenario, not even the deputies who were elected by the Republican Front. Everything now is taking place at l'Élysée after the president launched a 48-hour countdown promising to take full accountability. At the moment, the right is imploding, the left is scattered, and the center is held by a threat, or what we call the habit of holding the power.
From France to the Middle East, the 7th of October, the said-so date when the war in Palestine broke out, a wrong assumption carrying endless hidden messages of the reality of the genocide taking place at the moment in Gaza. More on this report with Manal Boubacar once again.
Today marks exactly 2 years of endless horror on the Gaza Strip since October 2023. Unfortunately, the suffering didn't start a couple of years ago. Palestinians are being drained and starved and bombed since 2007. Years of anguish and bloodshed, yet the Zionist terror persists with 67,000 martyrs, 169,000 injured, and 9,500 disappearances under the rubble. Frightening numbers nonetheless, numbers with faces behind them, broken-hearted families and lost dreams. Within the tragedy, Palestinians still resist. In the face of these atrocities, they stand tall, with over 200,000 tons of explosives launched towards an area that doesn't surpass 360 square kilometers. Hospitals that are constantly targeted and entire neighborhoods wiped from the map. 90% of the Gaza Strip has now been destroyed. The civilians that are accounted for, 1,700 doctors and nurses have lost their lives during this period. 38 hospitals and 96 healthcare centers are in the ruins of the war. Medical procedures and surgeries are taking place with no anesthetics, no electricity and no water. Survival doesn't solely rely on escape and the constant bombing, but also the lack of any means of life. Entire families completely erased from the civil registry and hundreds dying of malnutrition. Yet the resistance persists. The Zionist entity is not only targeting non-armed Palestinian civilians, but any witness to their crimes. 254 journalists killed since October 2023. True soldiers who hold the truth that cannot vanish. Every transmitted image, every scream, every cry diffused for the world to see. To also bear witness of the story of the people who refused to be eradicated. 2 years after the genocide, a tremendous part of the world can attest to the reality of this occupation. 159 countries recognizing the state of Palestine with the Palestinian flag flying high in the UN Quarter, a symbol of the legitimacy of the cause that now receives endless support. Yet the horror persists. With the Zionist entity protected by dozens of the world forces, the genocide continues, violating every human right in the book.
That's the end of it. Tomorrow, another day. Other news. Keep tuning to our channel programs. Take care. Bye-bye for now.